started.
Yeah, so our first problem is like longest consecutive sequence. So we are given an unsorted array of integer nums, and you have to return the length of the longest consecutive element sequence. So here if we say this one, 2, 3, 4, this is the longest one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because 100 is 100 only, 200 is 200 itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll give you the max one. And here starting from 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9. And these are the constraints. Length will be 10 ki power 4 and number can go up to 10 ki power 9. And we have to implement it as a follow-up. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do we do this? A brute force way, right?
Yeah.
Or more than a brute force. Yeah, it would be easy to do with brute force, right? So
So
you just keep on looking for. Yeah, go ahead.
brute force, okay, then in array itself you will keep on checking, right? Like if you take 100, you will check whether 99 is the array or not, right?
Some consecutiveness, right, for each and every time.
Yeah.
But will it be? I was wondering whether it will be n square or it will be n cube.
It will, first of all, it will be n cube, right? Because n square will go to search the root only, right? I mean, like if you are at 100, you will check 99. So that will take off and after getting that again, you will check to the extremum.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Okay.
every element n square and into n for checking the right side of n cube, it should be right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay, or maybe
I
more
think
also.
I think it will be O of a maximum number cube, right? If you do that, not n cube, I think. Because for 100, you have to check from again 99, 98 and so on, right?
yeah.
Mm,
Of maximum number cube, it will become then.
oh, maximum number. You mean to say the value maximum?
Yeah, 200 it will become.
Okay, yeah.
Maximum cube.
Because if we are at 100, we'll check
Uh-huh.
100, 1, 2, 3. Let's say 104 is there. Up to 198 is there, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we have to explore like he's saying correctly max of like what is the number in this array
But
universe.
will the value really have a impact on the time complexity? I was just trying to think loud. Yeah. Or is it any number should be fine, right?
Yeah, any number, longest length, whichever yeah should be
Okay.
like that.
Okay. Okay. So that is fine. If we are somewhat brute forces to much compute intensive and the time complexity too much. So if you want to reduce it, if you want to optimize on time complexity, so what are different ways and different approaches we could think of?
One is like we can flush the entire element of the array into the num set. I mean set, right?
No, that okay. But before that, see, I was thinking, why don't we sort the array,
Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah.
right? If we sort the array, because but that doesn't actually go well because they say we are already given an unsorted array, which is clearly stated. So I don't think so that will be appreciated, right? But yeah, but if we are, it's just a sort of a better brute force, right?
And log n and then
Yeah.
consecutive because yeah, that is a
And
good
then
one.
just look for the consecutive ones.
Mm.
I think after sorting, we can use 2 pointers, I guess. Then we can get it.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that would be a good way of doing it.
Why 2 pointers? Because after sorting, always the root, I mean, one, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 200 you got. So if you have one, then you
Yeah.
keep on 1, 2, 3, 4, you got till 4. Now you can store the length. Next sequence starts from 100. So 100 will give. So why 2 pointers? I mean, from beginning itself, you can go and, right?
Uh, yeah.
I think what he was
Yeah,
saying is if we start 2 pointers from the left side, right, and then we
Oh,
keep on increasing 1 pointer till it is having a consecutive sequence, and then whenever the consecutive sequence end, he will store the max so far, and then move the 1 pointer which was left at the left side to begin for the next,
yeah,
something like that, right? Yeah. Maybe it's a very
yeah.
good way of implementing 2 pointers, but yeah, one way would be
Mm.
okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. So, but it is going to be still n log n, and therefore we should find a better way of doing it because we can still find a better way of doing that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you want to do it, yeah, Seshank, you're the most
Yeah.
optimized way. Go ahead.
The same like what like we put in a set and then just check, take a number and just keep on reducing and check whether that number is present in your set or not, right? To get the root element, right? From where to start. In the
Okay.
left.
Can we run for an example like this, though?
Sure, sure.
Example 1 and 2. Maybe you can
So
actually, instead of annotating, you can actually even write in the text. Yeah, whatever is fine with you. Yeah, go ahead.
you will put it in a set first, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 100. So then one will pick first, right? Sorry, 100 will pick.
Mhm.
In the array, will pick 100 and will
200,
check.
200 as well is there.
Oh, sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
100, 200.
So 100 will check whether, I mean, 100 will always be there because entire nums I'm putting into the, what is it, set. So I'll check whether 99 is in the set or not. So 99 is not in the set, right? That means the root element is 100 only. From 100 right only I'll have to go. I'll check whether 100 not 100 that is present. So 100 not 1 is not present. So we'll store the length as 1. Till now we have seen a sequence of length 1, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now we can go for 4. So we'll check whether 3 is present. So it is present in the set.
Mhm.
Then 3 minus 1 will do at the same time. 2 is also
Okay.
present. Then 2, right? Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I don't think so. It was just a noise. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So 3, 2 is present. Yeah, and whether 1 is present, okay, 1 is present. So 1 minus 1 will do 0. Whether 0, but 0 is not present, right? So root element is 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, again, we'll check 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So corresponding to 4, we got the length of 4, right?
Okay. So
Then again, 2.
you started with 4 by actually decrementing 1 by 1, right? So
Mhm.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, makes sense. And then you
And we
went
went to
to addition also.
addition, yeah.
Okay.
And so we'll update our max length to 4. And
Mhm.
now 200 will take 199, it's not present. So 200 is the root and 201 is not present. So since length will be 1 for 200, so max length will be 4. For 1, we'll check again, 0 is present. So 0 is not, 1 is the root. So again, corresponding to 1 also you'll have 4, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for 3 also same thing, 4 you will get, and for 2 also you'll get 4. Right?
Okay. But we have already visited these numbers, right?
We have already visited it.
So we are
I
revisiting.
think we can use like visited array so that visited of 1 and 2 and 3 will become true so that at the time we don't have to visit them again. Like we can stop iterating for those values or skip those values. Like in graphs, we do that, right? Like for adjacent list, we will keep like
You can't do,
a
I
visited
also
array.
got, you can't do that because let's say with 7 in your this 6, 7, 8 was also present, right?
Okay.
Then corresponding to 4, you could have got a length of what? I
Then
mean,
corresponding to 4, we could have.
corresponding to 2, what will you get the length? 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, no. Okay, 5 is also there, let's say.
Okay.
What I said, 2, 4,
Okay,
and
if
3
you
is,
have 5, 6, 7, 8, in that case, so they will be counted when you come to 4 because you are going to the left and right of 4.
Yeah, left and
I'm
right.
not able to think of a test case where you need to visit them also. Like you will break, like you started with 1, right? You went up to 4,
Mm-hmm.
1 to 4,
I
and
don't we
there is some
visit
gap.
-1 is there in the set, right? We continue. So if there is 4, then we don't visit it. We skip it. We take the highest number in that sequence and then go back. That's why it's O of n. We don't revisit each of the elements because we are
Yeah, yeah,
continuing. The -1 number is there in the set.
right. But actually, he is trying to make first do a slightly lower version, and then he will come to that O of n.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's slightly one step below the O of complete O of n, right, Shashank?
1 plus. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I like the way Karthik is saying, but still that will be an O of n complete solution, right? But
And
that also
space.
makes sense. Either you use a visited, or maybe you can remove them from the set, whatever is done. Something like
Yeah.
that.
No, you can't remove it. If you remove it, then
Then the sequence count will get, it won't be considered in the sequence count for the higher numbers.
mm,
But see, if I'm at 4, right, and I found for the 4 in the original one, it was just 1, 2, 3, 4. So I found all the sequence of that. So I say my max so far is 4.
Yeah, that you can do.
So yeah, so I can maybe I can remove it, or maybe Karthik said like you
But you
use
have
a
to
visit.
record it in the visited array that at 4, my length is 4. And then whenever we get 10, we go up to 4 and then add it to that.
but let's say 2 was not there. Okay,
Mhm.
then corresponding to 4, what will you get? The series only 2, right?
Yeah.
And 0
Right.
is
Yeah.
0 is in your array. So corresponding to 4, you will have 2. Now
Yeah.
you went to 1. So 1 minus 1 is what? 0, right? So 0 is there in your list. So corresponding to 1, what will get? 0, 1, 3, right?
Why,
Although we have visited 3 already with 4, right?
no,
If
why,
you are saying, pardon?
why would we get 3?
We don't
Sorry,
get 3,
not
right?
3.
It will be
2, 2
0,
you will
1,
get
2.
2. 2 you will.
2 is not
Okay,
there. We just removed it.
okay, 0 and 1 only you will get, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because whenever we have a gap, we don't want to consider that because that will be a separate sequence,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Whenever like if 2 actually breaks the gap between 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to consider that way. So then we have 0, 1, and then you have 3 and 4. These are the two only subsequences what we have, the consecutive ones.
Yeah, yeah. Then we can remove that, what Karthik
Right. So,
mentioned.
but that will be an optimized version. But what you were saying was at least the way we should start with, right? We look at 4 and go to the back and forth. Yeah.
Extreme left and extreme right here.
Right. You have to go, you have to find that because that is very more intuitive and then actually coming up with all these optimized versions.
Remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That approach is clear. Yeah. Just if you want to run through the code or if you want to go the most optimized version, that is still fine.
Yeah, I can go. I have this only implementation.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just putting everything into the set and longest to 0, right? And for every num, I'm checking whether num minus 1 is present in my set or not. If it is present, I'll continue. I mean, I won't do anything. Like I took 100 minus 1, 99. 99 is not there. It will not enter, and I sequence will be 0, and I'll check right side till what extent I can go. So 101 is not there, right? So maximum till now will be 100. Now if I take 4, what will happen? 4 minus 1, 3 is there in num set, so I'll do nothing. Then I'll do nothing, I'll skip it, right? Okay, it's a off an approach then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
An optimized version. Yeah.
yeah. Then you will skip it, and corresponding to 4, then sequence will, no, if you continue, okay.
So you are skipping that, right? When you come to 4, you look for
Mhm.
3.
Skipping. Yeah.
3 is there. So you are not going to count your max so far,
It will be
right?
1 only.
Yes. It will be whatever was the initial value. So you don't care for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Then you go to 200.
199 is not there, so
Then you'll come down.
sequence will be 1 year. We'll come down and we'll check whether next sequence 201 is present or not, which is not. So only one will record till now also.
Right.
Now for 1, 0 is not there, right? So our sequence will start and we'll keep on doing till we get 4.
Correct.
And 4 will be your, till now. And for 3, 2 is present, I'll skip. For 2, 1 is present, I'll skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this will give the longest.
Yeah.
Shashank, could you please explain that again? I didn't get it properly.
Yeah,
Now, why
let's say
don't
4.
you
Yeah, go
walk
ahead. Yeah.
with that example? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If 4 is there, 4 minus 1, 3. 3 is in your hash set. Num, this set, right? So
Yeah.
I'll not go for the right extremum. I won't touch. I'll skip that element. I won't do anything with it.
No. What is that longest is doing? What is that sequence is equal to 0? What are those two things are doing? Like, why do you have those two things? Longest is equal to 0 for what and sequence is equal to 0 for what?
So the
I'm
sequence
asking.
we take, sequence 0 we take whenever you find the given element is your root element, right? If 100 you took, 100 minus 199 is not in my set, right? So 100 is the root. Now we have to go only right. 100 not 1, 100 not 2, we have to check, right? So for that, whenever you see root, I made new sequence I'm starting, so I'll make it 0 and I'll check whether 100 is present here. Sequence will be 1 and I'll increase 101. Again, it will check whether 101 is in my num set or not. It's not, right? So we'll update our longest by what the previous longest is 0, current longest is 1, so long max of this will be 1.
Okay. Longest is for while you are decreasing and sequence is for while you are increasing, right?
Well, actually, what he's trying to do is he will go to any number and he will try
Okay.
to look for that number if there is anything which is lesser than that current number. If it is lesser, he is not going to do anything because he knows that when he goes to the lowest one, like in the example 4, if you go to 1 and then you start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, you will surely encounter 4 again, correct? So he doesn't want to do
Yeah.
that. So he'll go to the lowest value, whatever is possible for each and every subsequent sequence, the consecutive sequence. And then only he wants
Okay.
to count from that element. Therefore, he is using that trick. So
Yeah.
when he starts from line
Okay.
8, so he is sure that he is at the very end of that consecutive sequence. So the sequence will
Yeah.
be 0 first. And then he keeps on counting the number by increasing one by one, the line 12,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's O of n, I'm not understanding. Like inside for every number, we are again incrementing till the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for every
No,
number, only whenever he finds a consecutive number, all the consecutives and the left side of it, for those only he is going back.
yeah.
Again,
So
he's coming up, right?
Only for that one.
yeah.
4
Yeah.
minus,
Only for that part. He's coming
if you
back.
take 4, if 3 is present, then I won't go for its right. I won't be checking further. I'll skip this element. But if you come to 200, 199 is not there, right? Now I will go only on 2. I'll check for 201, 202.
Yeah, so every sequence is just checked once.
So
That's true.
let's say this array had just 1 to 6 in a random order, okay? So in that case, you would have encountered 6, you would have skipped it. You would have encountered 5, you would have skipped. You go all the way to 1, right? Then again, when you're at 1, your line number 9 will hit. So now you'll be checking from 1 to 6 again. So aren't you doing it twice?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
2 times, right?
Yeah,
passes
2
will
and
be
then.
2n, yeah, but
Okay.
not n square or n
Yeah.
log n, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry, Shashank, what was that?
no, same thing. Like 2n will be not single.
Yeah.
Pass.
Giga
Yeah.
of n, yeah. Yeah, but this is one way, and as well as Karthik said, either the visited array or maybe we can actually remove from the num set also if possible. You know, in
But
some,
will we remove from set? Okay.
yeah, at least in C++, if you are using an unordered set, you can remove it. But if you have duplicates, then you'll have to use a multi-set, but then it will be n log n, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, then we can go to
Or
next.
maybe use an unordered map, something like that, right? Yeah.
I think we won't be having any duplicates to this example because it's a consecutive, right? 2 can't be a consecutive to 2 itself.
That is correct. Logically makes sense also, but you never know. We can't assume
Okay.
it because if you look at the example 2, you see 2 zeros there.
Yeah,
There is a zero at the
exactly.
initial, yeah, and at the end also.
Maybe you can use disjoint set as well. Union find, something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
how will that be?
So you initialize every number with its own index. I mean, so you try to union with the ones which are either -1 or +1, and you take the largest connected component's length.
Mhm.
So initially every element is a parent in itself, and whenever we find number -1 is present in my array, then this number will become the children of that, right?
Yeah, but that would be an overkill, no? So you are doing a
Yeah,
graph
that's
traversal.
yeah,
You'll first make a graph. So that would be O of V plus C, right? And this is
yeah,
just O of V.
yeah. It's just
I mean, I'm
yeah.
trying to union with the ones which are its neighbors only, right? If the number is n, I will try to union with n-1 and n+1 itself.
So for that, you'll have to traverse the entire array, right?
I think the path
Uh,
compression helps, something like that, right?
Yeah.
No. You are saying whether to find n-1 and n+1 are existing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
either
think here
then we
also we
have
are
to.
doing if num -1 in num set, we are here also we are like traversing only, right? Like we are checking if it is in the number set. So here also it is like traversal only. Once again.
Yeah, that is fine, but yeah, the DSU also seems to be a very different approach, right? It might
That is really nice.
for some.
But I mean, instead of traversing, maybe we would have to have some set itself. Then I mean, I'm not without set. I don't think we will not be able to find that n-1 and n+1 are existing or not.
Yeah.
And O of 1, right? Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. So if you have that, do you want to
Share with
Yeah, if you have that code, can you
share,
share
or
that?
you want to annotate
I
here and
Union
then
code.
walk through?
I mean, I can try to annotate, but I don't have that code actually.
No problem. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I have Union Fund. I can share if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, share it, please.
Yeah, one sec. Give me one sec.
Actually, today I was going through that union find. I thought it was like only to find cycles, like to find cycles and any connected components.
Can
But
you
then
see it?
suddenly
It's
this
coming up,
new
Raj, yeah.
application.
Yeah, let me know when you can see it.
Sure.
For union fund, are you returning the biggest component size?
I think so.
Yeah.
That should be the way. Let's see what he has.
Yeah.
It's still not coming. Should not take that long time, right?
So if you can see it, basically I'm creating the number to ID,
No, Raj, I'm not seeing it.
going through all
Any
the
others?
numbers and
Are you other
assigning
guys
the
seeing
ID
it?
to it.
Neither me. I also cannot see it.
Hey, Raj, can you hear us? Oh, yeah, it is coming now. Yeah.
Yeah. So still can't see it, is it?
I can see now.
No.
I can see.
Yeah, now I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So basically going through all the numbers, and since we need an identifier. So because we need this to create the union find of the size, right? So I'm basically assigning a ID. So starting with current ID 0, and if it is already present, because I think one of the examples had duplicates.
Example 2, yeah.
Yeah, so then in that case we can only need to consider one of them. So for that reason I created a ID, and then how many numbers we have unique numbers, then create a union find from that. And then, like Uday was saying, basically go through all the numbers. Then I'm getting the ID for that. And then if it is +1 and -1, if it is there, then do a union on that. And basically at the end, we also like the ranking. I use the union find with rank, right? So rank also is useful in this case. Basically, rank is the longest, the size of that component, connected component. So I return the max, the rank basically. That will give us the longest sequence, biggest connected component.
So your num2 ID is a map, which maps your number with the index.
Yeah, that's the ID that I used in the union find identifier.
And that is the reason
Because
you
these,
can quickly find it. Okay.
yeah, because these numbers can be like 100, 200, anything. So I map it to, yeah, and then I do the union find on the ID. Basically, for the union find, that is the ID. But what to union find, we need to use the number to see its neighbors, number +1 and number -1.
So there you go and get the index when you're looking for, because num2 ID will convert it into an index for that particular number.
Yeah.
And those two you want to union.
Yeah.
Unite.
And this step ensures that the number +1 or +1 is there in our array, because that's my key, right? So it ensures that if it is there, then only union the current number with the number +1.
But okay, you check it on line 36, you mean to say?
Yeah.
No, where do you check if num +1 is present?
Line 37. That's my number to ID map. So if it is there in the number to ID map, means number +1 is present in the array.
Okay, got it. Yeah, makes sense.
Then only do the then get the IDs for num and num +1 and do a union on that, because union is on the ID.
Right.
Union find uses the IDs.
Okay. So what is the time complexity here? Will it be log n and log n?
I'm using path compression and ranking. So I think they said, one of the earlier talks, they said this should be very close to ON, like 5n, they said. So,
okay, because the tree depth is not going to be more than 5, right?
Yeah. So based on that, I think this
it'll be constant. So n.
Yeah, ON, like linear 5n.
Correct. Yeah.
And space is
O
also
log
not
5, so it will be O log 5, ON log 5. So log 5 will be almost constant.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. I'm just thinking loud. Sorry, yeah. What was your question, Shashank?
No, space also, I think not much he's taking on. We were taking set and he's taking dictionary.
Yeah, but that is an additional one, because in your case, you are just using a set. Right. So he's using a map, and then the union find whatever the parent and all those storage pointers he needs that. So that will be just an addition. But solving this using this approach, union find itself is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Coming up with this idea.
Unique one, like.
Yeah. That's
You
good.
can share this, Raj, in the Discord.
Please share this in the Discord.
Okay, sure.
One
Yeah,
more, I mean, he's actually assigning IDs to the numbers, right? I mean, to make every number have a, I mean, to take care of duplicates. Hello.
ID itself,
No, no,
yeah.
no. I mean, some of the test cases are duplicates, right? So it's having some num2 ID, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, generally in Union Find we use an array for that implementation, right? I mean, to track the parent and rank and this all.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Maybe we can use a map or map as well. I mean, if we know that, I mean, we just need to find. I mean, either in either in union or in find, we just need to find the parent for for that particular element. I mean, we don't need an actual array. I mean, so we can keep it like a map or something like that, and I mean, you so that you don't have to use any num2 ID or something like that.
Yeah, 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 that's right. That's a great point. Yeah. Then we just have to use the different implementation of Union Find. I just had this template, use the same one. So yeah, if we modify it the way you want, like you said, instead of array, we use a map. Yeah, definitely. We can just then Union Find, then add a function to add a new number to it, and which will create that map you're seeing, and then we should be able to, yeah, not need that mapping. Yeah.
So, if I rightly understand what Uday was saying, Raj, so he's saying that you should remove the parent, whatever you use in your that union find, and instead of that, you will use a map, right?
That's right. Instead of array, because of the array implementation, it's sequential, right? The IDs are sequential and n elements, so size of the array parents is sequential. He's saying instead of that, we can replace that with a map. So then we don't need this conversion to ID. Yeah.
So
So, but then how do you take care in the find?
Union Find, we generally keep index as, I mean, every element has its index as a parents. I mean, I as parent, but I mean, if there are duplicates, there'll be two indexes with same value, right? So instead of that, you keep the value as its parent. Instead of index, you keep in value as its parent. So even if 2 is occurring multiple times, you will just have the same. I mean, if 2 is occurring 3 times, you will still have only one entry.
Yeah.
The 2
Yeah.
with
That's
its
right.
2.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, and just that's another.
Yeah, that's a very good one. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're trying to reduce the complete space and make it almost equivalent to what the other solution is, like oh, and without using extra space other than the set. Hmm.
No. I mean, I when the, I mean, just yeah. I mean, the RAS solution is also should be same. I mean, same space complexity, right?
Yeah, but his internally DSU will usually use some space. So that is one for sure. But then we are also using a map for mapping the index to the value. So that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
an addition that you're trying to avoid, right?
yeah. I mean, Union also use that. I mean, if you are using that path compression, these all you will use some. I mean, maybe two maps instead of
Mm.
if you are just using just brute force union find. You will just have that parent itself.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, but if are you going to work on it, implement that if possible?
Yeah, I will
Then
try.
share it,
I'll
please.
try. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please. Yeah, because it's very hard to visualize it, you know. But once you look at the code, it will make more sense. Yeah, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and we can start next one, right?
Yeah.
So more stones removed from the same row or same column. So we are given a 2D plane and we have n stones at some integer coordinates, and each coordinate may have at least at most one stone. Can be removed if either the same row or the same column. If it shares either same row or same column with another stone that has not been removed. An array of stones of length n is given, where stone I is represented by these xy coordinates, and location of the ith stone. We have to return the largest possible number of stones that can be removed. More of a island problem. Looks like. Yeah, this is a yeah. Go ahead. Connected components if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, no, when you said island problem, I didn't understand why you said island. Therefore, I was trying to think loud. Okay.
Hey, can you, what is the question again? What we are trying to find?
If they say same row and column as another stone that has not been removed.
So these are the coordinates what they have given as an input, right? So it's like a grid, 2x2 matrix. So
We can
these
draw
coordinates have stones.
Yeah.
So whenever you see any, draw a grid, that will be better.
So one stone at 0, 0 and another is 0, 1, right, at this place. Sorry, 0, 1, you are saying the 0, 1 is this. And then 1, 0 is this. And then 1, 2, right? So x is 1 and 2 and 2, this place, 1, 2. And 2, 1, 2, 1 will be what? Here 2 and 1. This 2, 1. And 2, 2, 2, 2 matlab, y equal to x line, right? So somewhat like on this line, where will it lie?
Yeah,
Here.
that's right. No, below that, yeah.
This one, I mean, where both, this one.
Okay.
Something like that, 2, 2. So we have stones at this place, this place, this place, and this place, and this. Right.
One more. Okay, yeah. So because any column and any row, they are connected with, if any of the stone, whatever that is connected with any column or row, so they can form a connected sort of a component, correct?
Yeah, like these two stones, they are sharing the same x coordinate as 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they can fall in one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even 2, 1 with 0, 1, because 2, 1 with 0, 1, because their y coordinates are same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these two can also be clubbed like 1.
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 2 and 2, 2 also, no?
1, 2, yes, 1, 2 and 2, 2, correct. I mean, this, that means this, all can be connected in a.
There with that
Then
logic.
1, 2 and 1, 0 also connected.
Yeah.
1, 2 and 1,
Is the
0.
logic? I'm not really sure.
This is what they are saying, right?
Yeah,
What is
that
the logic
correct,
actually?
yeah.
Can you scroll up the question?
We have to remove that particular stone if they share the same coordinates. Yeah.
Okay, then, okay.
If it shares the same coordinates. So like I said in other way around, like if it is like these two stones will be removed first, right? Let me select another color. They're like
What is the output? What is
these two stones will be removed.
How many stones we can remove?
Okay, here you can remove everything.
Everything will be
Yeah,
removed.
then
Because
I think it makes sense. Yeah. So number of elements in your connected component, right?
That's why I said number of island problem, something. Not exactly, kind of like.
But you have here 6 stones and your answer is 5. So at least one stone will remain, right?
0, 0.
Yeah, the one which is at root will remain.
But should
Because
it?
no, but by that time every stones will be removed. No, that's why this will be left alone.
Yeah, he doesn't have any 1, 2.
partner
share a
to go with.
relationship.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
either, I mean, you can leave out any other one also, right? You can leave
Yeah,
out 1, 2 also, 2, 2 also.
makes sense. Yeah.
I think here 0, 0 and 0, 1 is also sharing a column, right? So 0, 0, 0, 1 also connected.
Yeah.
And
Can
1,
you
0 is
actually
also
connect
connected.
all those components, so it will be more clear, Shashank? So you
Now,
1, 2 and 2, 2 also you connect.
Okay, so 1, 2 and 2, 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so this you're
No,
saying
not 0, 1. No, 1, 1, 2 and 2, 2, 2. Sorry.
okay, this one 1, 2 and 2, 2.
Yeah, they can be connected,
yeah,
correct? So then you can
Yeah,
have a connection between 1, 2 and 1, 0 also.
1, 2
yeah.
and 1, 0. Yeah, this two because x coordinate is same.
Right. And then using those others two also can be connected with 0, 0 and 0, 1. Yeah, that also.
And
So
this
they
will
all
be left.
form a connected component. Yeah.
This is left.
No,
This will be
no.
connected
0,
to 1, 0.
0, 0, 1 and 1, 0. It will be connected
No,
to
no.
0, 1 and
By
1, 0.
by the time you come here, everything will be removed now. So nothing will be there with him to do part. I mean, any stone can be removed by that, right? See,
Yeah,
this he will
yes.
take this one, right? He will take this and he will take this. So this will be left alone only.
Okay. Yeah.
You are removing 2 stones, there 1, 2 stone and 2, 2 stone. You are removing 2 stones.
Yeah, first these two. I mean, yeah, these two got removed or anything. Yeah, like yeah, because x coordinate is matching. Now these two got
Okay.
removed because their x coordinate is matching. So on the plane here,
Okay.
and again these two also got removed.
No, 2, 2 and 2, 1 are already removed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2, 2 and 2, 1, you remove 2, 2. You don't remove 2, 1. Right. So you have 1, 2 and 1, 0. You remove only 1, 2. Correct. So then you compare with 0, 1 and 2, 1. You remove 2, 1. Keep 0, 1 as is. So when you compare with 0, 1 and 0, 0, you can remove 0, 1. So 0, 0
Oh,
still remains, right?
only one
Okay.
stone is removed, right?
Yeah,
Not the both.
you should only remove one stone at a time. So that can be
Okay.
paired with the other one. Yeah, that is what it shares in that explanation.
Yeah, I thought both are removed at the same time.
No. Then how is this related to connected components?
Because they have a relationship with each other. So whenever we can have a relationship with a set of group of stones, then they form a connected component, correct?
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah,
find
so
how
first
many
we make
numbers
a
of
graph.
there are in the connected component is like an island problem or so. So we can return that many number of stones minus 1 because you will have
Okay,
only one
okay.
number.
Yeah. Somehow you will be removing 1, 1, 1 at a time. So yeah, only one. Okay, for one entire connected components, 1 will be the answer, I think.
Yep. For entire connected one component, you will have whatever the number of connected components minus 1.
If it is 3, then 2 will be left and 1 will be removed.
Yeah.
If this is the component.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty straightforward implementation if you use a DFSV or something like that, right?
Yeah. Same thing like.
First you make a graph, right?
Yeah, you'll have to make a
Yeah,
graph.
that is also critical, correct. Okay, now if you want to make a graph, how do we make a graph?
So this is the graph I made. Bidirectional graph I'm making. Connecting. I mean, in stones x with y and y with x. Both the way I'm connecting.
So you are actually trying to match 0 with 1 and 1 with 0. For the first one, you are doing 0 with 0.
0 with 0 and yeah, 0 with 0 and here also 0 with 0. Then 0 with 1 and 1 with 0.
Okay.
How does this make sense?
I mean, like 0 will be there and 0, 1 will be there in that, in this way. 0 is here and 0, 1 will be in this. And again, 1 is there, so 0, 1 will be here. Right.
That I understand. But why are you doing it this way? Like taking
Is
your
a
x
part of a
coordinate.
grid, right?
Because I think we have coordinates, right? So row and column. So if the cell exists in that row or column, it's automatically connected to all the components in that row or column. So that's why this I to J and J to are relationship.
But how are we going to get a
This,
relationship?
So
okay.
I
Because
think
if you want to
I
find
think
a number of 5, right, in a connected island, which have a size of 5 stones, so then how do we get that? Yeah, he's done it. It's correct actually, but I'm not able to understand and visualize the way it is.
I think if there is a stone at 0, 1, that doesn't mean there has to be a stone at 1, 0, right?
Right. So you cannot have the reverse way, you mean to say, bi-directional, correct?
Yeah,
But
But then he's treating that as a row and column connection.
yeah.
Hmm.
For this, it has got like correct answer. I think for first example, it has got 0, 1 and 1, 0 also. I think submission
see
also.
whether it's accepted.
No, no, this
Yeah,
is
it
correct.
also got
There is no doubt
accepted.
about it.
No, no, I'm
Uh,
not sure. Might be
yeah,
current
because the
version.
way I was
So did
doing,
someone else try?
I was trying to map with the number, whatever we have stones array, right? So I was taking that indexes. So what I was saying is whenever 0, 0 is there, that will be my 0th index. So that will be the 0th position. Then I was trying to map them with a, maybe use union find there. Okay, DFS and union find both going to give the same solution, right?
Yeah.
So you use those indexes like 0, 0 will have 0, 0, 1 will have 1, 1, 0 will have 2, and 1, 2 will have 3, 4, 5, something like that. And then you do a union find on all of them whenever you find a relationship with its neighbor.
So coordinate and index you were putting.
Right, right, something like that, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's the same thing. Same
Okay,
thing.
so you'll have to check in the DFS, right? That from where you are coming, is there any same? Is the present column, row index or column index the same?
Which line?
No, I was talking about Santosh's code.
Okay.
For me, yeah. So what I do is when I go in this, actually, I did not create an adjacency list or a graph, something like that. I just went through the rows and columns for each and every coordinate. And in that, then I actually try to compare if my row and column of any one of the stone has a relationship with the row and column of that other stone. Okay, the whatever you call XY coordinate or row and column. And if it has, then I'm just going to merge the index of that stones array, of those stones array. I just want to merge. So when at the end, when I'm done with the merging, I just get the counts, whatever is the count remaining, because it will remain 1 in this example, and then I subtract by n, subtract from n.
But that's not DFS, right, Santosh?
No,
That
that's
is
a union find, right?
okay, yeah.
Because it's very hard to create. I was it was very hard for me to visualize how to create a adjacency list. Maybe
Yeah,
it's not difficult, but yeah. So I
yeah.
thought this was a easier way.
Creating the graph, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's I was stuck there too.
yeah.
But I see Shashank has done. What are you doing? How are you creating that graph?
Graph like based on the coordinates I'm doing. Like in S, I'll go for every coordinate and I'll connect 0 with 0. And again, 0 and 1 is there. So corresponding to 0, I'll have 0, 1. So this is the final graph that I'll this one corresponding to 0, you have connections with 1, 0, 0, and 1. Because this one for this 0 is connected, this 1 is connected, again this 0 is connected, 2 zeros and 2 ones, right? I mean, if you take all this and do a hash map, so 2 zeros and 2 ones corresponding to 0.
Okay.
And corresponding to 1, what you'll have, 1 has a connection with 2, and here also 2. So 2 2s are there, and 1 has connection with 0 also. So 2 2s and 2 zeros.
So
And
in
coming
your, when you have printed out, see, what you see is 0 is some node and it has its neighbors 1 0 0 1, right?
yeah,
You have 1 and then 0 2 2 0 its neighbor. Similarly for 2. So for
for
me, it appears to be we have only 3 nodes in a graph.
yeah.
So then how are we coming with 5 answer? That actually I'm not able to get out of this. Correct.
Okay, let's go through the code. I think if we make it
So,
here, right?
mhm.
So actually, I'm starting from here. I mean, just calculating the length of the S. What is S? S is the okay, set of stones, right? The unique ones only I'm taking, like 0, 1, and 2 you'll have.
Okay.
And I'll check whether it is present. I mean, it will act as a visited, you can say. If I, j is not in present in this, then
However, like of stone, that's a list, right? So it will be like having this individual list elements. Oh, you
yeah,
are
but list I put it into set, right?
you're doing that list operation, list of map of tuple stones.
Yeah, but that list goes into a set now. It's like putting all the elements of the list into set.
What I don't know what that line number 4 is doing.
Line number 4 is, I mean, it's doing a mapping from tuple to the stones. Wait, let me. This is the
Take your
set.
array itself, stones array basically.
This is, yeah, exactly. Whatever stones are it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So
0, 1, 1,
stone S is going to be, S dot length is going to be 6, right? Over here.
6, yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. So that is our 6, right? And we are checking whether that coordinate is present. I mean, if this coordinate of stones is present in my S or not. If it is not, then I'm continuing, right? And I'm just removing that particular coordinate from my set of stones and then making a DFS column. Yeah, go ahead.
What is
Pardon?
what is S?
Array. I'm not getting what you're saying.
You saved stones into the set. Now we have the tuples. What are you? And then you are iterating through those coordinates. What is S? Is it the graph that you made?
It
S
is a
is
set.
no. S is the set of stones. This all these coordinates. This 0, 1, 1, 2, 2,
Yeah, he
1,
has
0.
picked up all the stones, that whatever was that input parameter, then he put it in a set. So that will be an easy access, right? Open access.
Okay.
And let's say if I have to search for this, I'll first remove it from my set 0, 0, right? And now I'll check which all neighbors of 0, 0 are there.
Okay.
So this is what I'll, if that is not in my set, that I won't do anything, because next time, let's say 0, 0, I remove for the first time. Next time, if I'll check, it won't be there, right? So if this is the coordinate that is there in my set, so I'm removing this and then making a DFS call on this. And now this is the DFS function, right? This is the DFS function. So now I'll explore all the y coordinates for that given particular I, right?
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So okay. So I'll explore and now I'll check whether with the given I and for the same y, which all I, like I comma y is not in.
Okay. For each and
And then
every node, you're trying to check its x or y. Okay.
for x, both the coordinates are checked.
If you find a relationship, then you go for, you remove that element from that stones array or the S set, and then you again run a DFS on it.
DFS.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah.
So this Y is basically the adjacency list, right? Like the 1001, 1100, whatever you had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is this?
Yeah. Can you go back 1 second?
Sure.
Okay, so you're checking. Oh, okay. Okay.
whether there is a relation or not. If there is a relation, then you need to remove that, right? I mean, if this stone is having relation with whichever coordinates, you need
Yeah.
to knock them out. So that is what's being done. And then
Okay.
further recursively you go for that.
Can you
Okay.
do one more thing? Can you comment out the code on line 10?
10. Okay.
Yeah. And if you just run it,
Oh, you are checking whether with signal. Yeah. It
and
should
can
be.
we actually just submit and see? Or you'll have to remove the standard out.
Oh, memory error, I'll get.
Yeah, it might give a memory error.
No, the answer.
It doesn't work?
No.
Okay, so then that is required, correct? Okay. Okay. Because it looked to me, looking at the first example, it was duplicate entries of some of the rows and columns, but it's not so. Okay, yeah, makes sense. But it's very hard to come up with this graph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the Newton find is more intuitive, the one which you were sharing.
Yeah, it looks very straightforward actually.
Yeah. It's not that, I mean, little bit
Sorry?
not organic. This is not that intuitive, like.
Yeah, only the graph making, creating a graph or the adjacency list is a bit challenging, but it works if we do it this way. Yeah, it's not very convincing though.
Yeah.
But now it makes sense, yeah.
Afterward, yeah.
So we just actually look for the relationship and we create a graph based on the relationship and then we use it.
Never, I mean, all the.
Yeah, because when we look at the relationship, we then compare those relationship with the node value, right? When we are going into neighbors, and then you compare if they are present in our stones array or their set, whatever we call them, and then we do a DFS if it is present.
Yeah, true.
And to avoid the visited array, you actually remove it from the set. Yeah, makes sense. It's
So
pretty smart implementation. Yeah.
Yeah, like in one of the solutions, like I was seeing and discuss, is like they're stuffing the entire stones array as like at an index. I did not understand why they were doing that. Like even in the solutions, again, this is the Java solution. I don't know about the Python one.
No problem. Let's. Which one?
Yeah, the first one. See the code for that.
No, it's not. Loading. Okay, Java.
Yeah. Actually, wait, no, this is even more messier, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't understand this one. Why
Yeah,
the incrementing graph?
if you go to discuss, actually, then there is Java recursive DFS. I think is the third one. Yeah. So if you see this, in they are stuffing this entire array as a part of the index. That's something that I was like, because like here you've done it individually, it makes sense, right? You're assigning I to J, J to I.
He's putting in a hash set everything, right? All the stones.
Yeah.
So he's using that as a visited array. So he's going through stones array, whatever we come from as an input, and then he's taking that S1 and trying to find if it's already there in the visit. If it's not, it means it's not visited, right? So we'll take that pair and go ahead with the DFS.
Correct. So in DFS, they're just checking for like 0 and 1 index. Like I don't even know where this is coming from. The
Oh,
S1
that is correct. S10 and S20, right? So he's trying to find if there is a relationship between those two elements in the column front and the row front. Right?
Comparing
That is
it.
what the relationship
Oh,
you have
the
to
I
find.
and J.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that is what you have to do for even union find. So this is correct. And this is a normal DFS. Only the relationship you have to verify, and then if it is true, then you go for a DFS for that particular
So
S1
this
and S2.
is, yeah, this is similar. Like if we would have actually expanded this the way Shashank did, like stuffing I and J separately, and he was checking it separately, right? Is it equivalent to that?
Well, this is straightforward DFS, I would say.
Hmm.
Only here we have to compare the relationship. That's the only difference part.
Okay.
But that, frankly, I'm not very sure. That is something different because we go for the neighbors, and the neighbors actually have the relationships already stored up
Yeah.
front,
But
right? Yeah.
there also I'm checking y coordinates and x coordinates which are similar, which is done by this here, right?
Yeah, it's done by this one. Okay.
Yeah. So you are doing it different way
Hmm.
because you're already storing the relationship. Here we actually come and look for those relationship here, and then still follow the coordinates from the stones array or whatever the tuple is from that stones array.
They are not constructing graph here. One benefit is that.
Yeah, you don't need to. You can just use it as is because those are the edges, no? Whatever
Yeah.
you are getting. So either you use directly the edges, which is actually an overhead, or you construct the neighbors and the adjacency list, which even if you are using some time complexity upfront before you run into the DFS, but still that will be more efficient way of doing it for a time complexity wise.
Oh.
Because here you'll have to keep on looking for each and every stone, right?
Yeah, to match the x and y coordinates.
Yeah, when you go down, if you go down, slightly scroll down, so you are using a for loop here, correct? For each and every stone you are looking. If you had that neighbors already in place, you would just look for the neighbors. So that is more efficient than this one.
Because
Okay.
there will be four nodes I'll be visiting. I mean, the number of neighbors what I'm having corresponding to that.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
But this also should work. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, then shall we shift to this?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Because
two,
union find is very straightforward.
yeah, like initially all the parents and then you are clubbing based on the relations. So this is like rotate strings. Two strings are given. A shift on A consists of taking string A and moving leftmost character to the rightmost position. If this, then the rotated string will be this. I mean, this A is going to the back. Return true if and only if B become if A can become B after some number of shifts on it. Or both the way, if and only if is there. Okay, A can become B and B can become A. So A is this, B is this. Okay. So first of all, number of length should be same, right? Length of A and B. And
Only if A can become B, right? That is what it says.
no, both the ways when if and only if is there. So A implies B and B implies A both. And operation is there. A to B and B to A.
No, what they're saying is return true if and only if A can become B. They are not saying the other way.
This relation means itself in discrete maths equivalent to A implies B and B implies A. If it is following that notation, then otherwise normal English it will be like this. What you are saying, A can become B.
But anyway, yeah, you have to have both A into B, then only it will be true. Yeah, that is true. But it specifically says we have to check for A in the B. So whatever the way you do it, yeah. Okay, no problem. But it says after some shifts.
So 2 shifts on A will make it B, right?
2 shifts on A.
Like AB
Ah.
shifted.
Mhm.
But here it's totally sequence only they have broken
Correct.
because this and A and B will have at most 100.
Yeah. So this is not an easy problem first. Correct? Yeah, because when they say easy and they expect in the solutions so many ways to solve it, that is not an easy solution.
I thought at every point I'll split and rotate and check whether that is equivalent to B or not.
Oh yeah, so that will be a brute force. Correct. So we actually split for each and every, you just remove one of that element, one of that letter from A, the first one, and then you append it to the A, and you keep doing it. That is the way you are saying, right?
We can use
We
reverse.
we can also check if we can translate one row to another row just in one shift. Yes, it's like brute force. We just check if we can translate zero shift, one shift, and etc. Up to length of A. Yeah.
What was, could you walk through Nanik?
Yeah, I can share a solution in such way, but it's like brute force. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just oops, not this. Oh, not this one. Oh, sorry. Oops, let me check. Oh no. It's wrong screen. How to unshare? Okay, let me share another screen. Guys, sorry, really sorry. I'm checking which screen, which. Oh, what I suppose this one. Yeah, yeah, this one. So, can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like usual check, yeah, and then I'm checking if shift is uh, if string is equal is string A making from B by just one shift, yeah, when shift is just zero, and I am traverse from all shift up to length of A. Yeah. So I am checking. I know that this condition. I'm checking for this condition. Yeah. Because when like like this. Yeah. Because I know what does it mean that I opened. Yeah. It means that I had just shifted all elements. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you have shifting one and then you take a modulo of n with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I am checking just all shift, all possible variation. Yeah. And
Okay. But where do
it's
you
like
check for the other shift? Because you have split that as sort of, right? Or the last
yeah.
element.
If it's not true, yeah, I check for another shift. Yeah. So I'm and only n shift is possible. Yeah. Because
Right.
otherwise, because of model, it will be just
In the
zero.
same.
Can you scroll a bit to that check shift function again, please? Yeah. Okay. So you look for I to n. Oh, yeah. You again go to n. So because if you
Yeah.
keep on going, you will come back to the origin. Yeah, no problem. That makes sense.
Yeah.
This is
This
clear.
like
Yeah.
brute force.
This is brute force. Yeah. Perfect. Mm-hmm.
Mine is also brute force only. Like if A is equal to B, then you return to, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, what you take every time, I delete my first character from the front and put it to the back. And then check whether equal to B, then return to otherwise false.
Mm-hmm.
So this is again a brute force only what I'm doing.
Yeah, looks like, yeah.
of n square kind of here.
Because you'll have to run through that whole of the length of that string A. Mhm.
One optimization could be do it only when the first character matches. Otherwise, you can do a continue, right?
Yeah. So that will be one way to do it. Correct.
Character matches I didn't get.
So instead of checking, shifting every one character at a time every time, only when the first, let's say in this case, right, A when you move to the end, you're going to get B, C, D, E. So B is definitely not going to match to C. So instead, shift B also. So keep doing that till the first character, that is C, matches with C. So like then you don't have to compare the two strings in each iteration. That will be small optimization.
Yeah.
Once you are checking whether first character is matching, then only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good.
So when
This
once
is
you
n
see
square, no?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
n square.
that
This
will also be n square because if you have the same AB, something like that, right? Mhm.
internally it will take over.
No, it's actually n cube, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because each time you check the two
Uh,
strings, you're checking n characters.
divided by n square.
But that is n plus n, no? So in the loop, you're doing that n plus n job.
No, for two strings to be equal or not, we have to, like, that will take O of n square, right? Not O of n.
See, the way Nick was looking at it, he was just shifting once, and even what Shashank is doing, right? If you just shift one, you just run into one for loop to compare the two strings, correct? So this should be n square, no? Or no, I'm missing something.
No, I think because one n is for the outer for loop and n is for line number 8. For every n we are checking, right? Whether it is same or not.
Yeah, I guess it's creating new objects every time at line 7. So that won't, I don't know how is, but yeah, you're right. Even if it does, it is n plus n. So then it is n square total. Yeah. Fair enough.
No, for line number 8, it will be n square, right? Only for
How
line
n
number
square?
8.
So I
No,
think, yeah,
every
go on.
Like,
every character is compared, right? You compare the first character of A with the first character of B, second with second, third with third, and so on up to n.
That is
So,
linear, yes.
so that is why.
yeah, that is, yeah.
Yeah, so this is n square, correct? And this also will be, uh, it passes, right? All your test cases in lead code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other way would be just add. Yeah, I know. So this is a very good time complexity also. So if you append A with A, correct? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can use some extra space there and just look for B. So that will be sort of a space complexity, an additional space complexity. But it won't be O of n, right? Still O of 2n.
It can be, no? So if you append A,
Mhm.
then we have a question, right? Is subsequence.
Okay, we
So
just go and look for the first character match and then we go and look
yeah,
for it.
yeah. You look for C in your A, then like you keep going on in A, then you like if you find the same, then you increment in both of them. So it's like the two pointer, merging of two sort directs.
N square, right? Because in the worst case, you will do n square, right?
I don't see an annotate option here. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Sometimes does
Why doesn't
yeah, I
show?
can.
Yeah, I can also see it. Okay. Yeah, so if you make this string A, B, C, I think I ran out of space.
I'll write down, yeah.
Yeah, I'll clear it first. So here A and B do not match, right? So you move ahead in A. Okay, so you move to B and then you move to C. So when you come to C, you see that both of them match. Then you increment both of them. Then you come to D here and D here. So this way, like you'll be going on till you exhaust your B. So you're looking for this pattern in your original one, A plus A. So this looks to me as O of n only.
Yeah,
O of
using
n
two
plus n, you
pointer.
can say. Yeah.
No, it is O of n square because for every starting point, you will compare till the length of the second string you have, right?
No, not comparing for the entire length.
Because let's say after comparing all the way to A, the last character is different, then again you have to start the same thing starting D, right? So once you find one match,
Sorry,
like,
Kamal,
unless you're doing a direct jump from C to some other character altogether, like how would you escape in square?
Yeah. Can we use prefix rolling hash here?
Rolling escape. I was saying that only. Because of avoiding n square, only KMP came into picture. Like he's saying correct, RK. Like if the last character seems to be different, then again you'll have to start it from the next key.
Yeah, but if we use rolling hash, we will just compare string when hash is equal.
Okay, I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So rolling hash also will be one way. So this two-pointer approach is good actually, but then if we have a test case like other guys are discussing, then we might end into a situation like that, right?
Yeah. So this only, like you consider C here instead of A. Then you'll increment your C here. Sorry, you'll move ahead in your B. Okay. But this C had to be consumed by this C. And I consumed with this one. So this only works for subsequences. I don't think it works for substrings.
Yeah.
Substring KMP you have to use, or rolling hash, what Nick is saying.
Rolling hash or the KMP, yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, that is pattern matching.
Yeah, that's
my bad. Sorry.
No, it is correct. So because initially I also started with this, but if you want to go with the linear time complexity, then that is the only way. Correct.
So rolling hash, can you explain a little bit more? You will just consider the length of the string and find the hash for every starting point.
I am not 100% sure. Like you maintain, it's like prefix sum plus hashing. So you are able to obtain the hash of every substring, right? So let's say it is the string A, B, C. Then please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not at all sure. So you keep some hash for this, okay? And then you keep on incrementing this. So you do it like hash plus.
So I think you'll have a sliding window kind of thing where you multiply by some prime, decrease it when you move the window, I think.
Right. So first you'll have to form a hash for that particular ABC.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hash for A will be, in this case, hash square into A plus hash into B, hash if you are taking what you say, instead of taking hash, you can say something like a integer value, which is a prime. Okay. So because hash will be the value of all of that, right? So P will be something, a prime number, 37 or so, and then you first, because it's third in that ABC, so the first column will be, if you compare, with the digits in an integer, so it is like 100th digit, right? So that should be multiplied by 2 zeros. So instead of that, we are using primes. So if that prime value will be 37, then it will be P square into A plus P into B, and then P raised to 0 into C. So it will be only 1 in that case, right? So that will be a hash for that value of ABC. And then we keep on adding anything from the left side, we'll have to remove, so from the right side, we'll have to remove one element from the left side.
Correct.
So, yeah. So you'll have to again multiply the whole hash function with p square, and then you subtract that first one,
Hmm.
and then you actually add the next element.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that way it is O of n only, just with extra space of O of n.
Yeah, and more complexity to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Implementation will be a bit complex, right? So in this.
And KMP is, I forgot KMP.
KMP is like longest prefix and suffix you have to find. It's like if you take A, right? So from this side, if you find AB, so from that side also, suffix side also, you should be able to find AB. So longest LPS you have to find, right?
Okay, okay.
Are you sharing something, Shashank? I'm not
No,
able
no,
to
no.
hear it.
Verbally just.
Okay.
Yeah, this ruling hash implementation is here. Oh, Santosh said this only, right? P naught.
Right.
KMP is for substring or subsequence?
Substring.
Substring.
All these are for substring.
Okay.
How did they use this ruling hash? They are taking converting every character B to a character array.
Yeah, they're multiplying by power and then moving ahead.
Yeah, KMP, I don't know, I'm not able to remember it. Every time I read, I forget it after you.
Everybody. This KMP. But you remember KMP is always for LPS, like longest.
So the next related thing would be even for pattern like regex matching also.
DP problem.
Sorry, that would be DP.
DP problem, right?
Okay.
But that we can't use a regex matching over here, right? Can
Yeah,
we?
this method it will not work, right? Yeah.